Audrey Holmes LLC versus Kaylin Westcomb. File number is 251811GC. Attorney to Jonathan Hintz is here on behalf of the plaintiff. Ms. Westcomb is here by Zoom. This lawsuit was served on the defendant last year in August, sometime after August. Defendant filed an answer received by the court on January the 5th. Wasn't exactly an answer, but she wrote a letter to the court, which we accepted as an answer. Set it for a preliminary interim pretrial, schedule matter for further proceedings. It's set for a pretrial today, and plaintiff has filed a motion for summary disposition, asking me to execute an order on their behalf. Mr. Lentz, now, Ms. Westcomb, did you read the brief and the motion that the plaintiff filed?
Yes.
All I can see is the top of your head. There, that's better. Mr. Hintz, what would you like to say about your motion?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the motion is straightforward. There was a letter that was sent as an answer, and there were some reasons given. And so after the court processed the answer and set up a time for discovery and for things to be exchanged, plaintiff filed their witness list, their filled out the pretrial statement, and plaintiff also sent out some requests to admit to further narrow what this case was about. Under 2.312, requests to admit, if they're not answered within 28 days, they're deemed admitted. And the request to admit outlined the claim for originally $11,652.95 plus statutory interest. And so since there's been no answer, Your Honor, I'd respectfully ask that, as those allegations which outline the claim are deemed admitted, and therefore that proves plaintiff's case, there's no need for a trial, and respectfully ask the court to enter a judgment in this matter.
All right, that was pretty succinct. Ms. Westcomb, lawyers and judges talk about summary disposition all the time. Mr. Frederick, I'm going to put you in the waiting room while you have your smoke. We don't smoke in court, so I'll bring you back in when it's time for your case. You got sued for a substantial amount of money. This isn't small claims. It's the general civil division of the court. Apparently you rented an apartment at Concord Place. You moved somebody in without permission. There were other things that didn't go well according to your letter. And then you just left and never came back. So they're asking for unpaid rent, both before you left and after you left, and damages to the apartment. And so they filed this claim for this amount of damages. Exhibit B sets out their amount of damages. So you didn't exactly file an answer, but you wrote a letter, as Mr. Hintz says, sort of giving some reasons for things. But it doesn't amount to a defense. It gets you past the default. But in order to get past a motion for summary disposition, you have to establish that there is no material issue of fact and that you haven't stated a defense. In addition, they filed a demand for discovery and asked you to answer some questions. You didn't answer the questions. So they're deemed to be admitted if you don't answer the questions. So having all that in mind, what would you like to say?
I got the questionnaire and I did fill it out, but I sent it back to the number that I got it on, or the email, but I never heard anything. And then I proceeded to call the attorney, the JP Hines. I called them and tried to ask her to send me it was like a paper of how much I could pay, like basically like agreeing to how much I could start paying. But
All right,
yeah,
go ahead.
Your Honor, what Ms. Westcombe has said is correct. She called us on March 10th from a phone number and left a message indicating that she wanted to fill out a payment arrangement form. And we called her back on that same day, indicating we needed an email address that we could send her the form to. And so she has been in contact with our office. That is true. We haven't received any answers, though. That's the thing.
All right, well, let's talk about the amount. The original amount pled was 12,508. I think it may have been less than that, but it's currently at 12,583.59 plus costs. Guys show costs at $200 filing fee, $55.82 service fee, and a statutory $75 attorney fee. That would be a total of $330.82.
Your Honor, not to speak out of turn, I believe the filing fee was $160. We have it in our records, Your Honor. And then there were two motion fees, $20 each. Service of
Yeah,
process
that's what
bills.
raises that to 200.
Oh,
What do you
okay,
show
gotcha,
for
gotcha.
service?
I'm
We show
sorry.
55.82.
And then there was another part of 2155. We came to a total of $277.37, Your Honor.
Without 277.30,
37, yes, sir.
without attorney fees.
And then there's a statutory attorney fee of $75, which brings a total to $12,930.
No, let's do the damage total first.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Your Honor.
277 plus 75.
Yep. The damage total that was alleged and the exhibit illustrates is $11,652.95. And then that was the amount that the damages show. Then there was statutory interest of $930.64 added. And when you add those two numbers together, you come to a total of $12,583.59.
Right, that's what we've got. 277.30 plus 75 is 352.30 in cost.
Mm-hmm.
We add those two numbers together, 128. $12,000. I missed a number. What's the total? 12,583.
59. Yep. And then
get a total of 12,935.89. Now that's a lot of money, Miss Frederick. You signed a lease, you rented this apartment, you left without completing the terms of the lease. Did you ever turn in your keys or give your forwarding address?
I turned in my keys, but I also don't know who was like, I had permission to have somebody live there because I talked to the guy that owned the apartment. He just didn't want to put her on the lease because she was underage. But he knew she was
Well, all
living
right,
there.
that's not really a part of this. The damage, there's rent before you left and then rent after you left before they were able to re-rent the apartment. And then the rest of it is damage. And so you owe a lot of money, 12,935.89. I'm going to grant summary disposition in that amount. That's a lot to pay for a place you're not living at anymore. You were agreeable to setting up some sort of repayment plan. Mr. Hens, I can either put you guys in a breakout room and let you discuss that, or she can contact your firm and see about setting up a repayment plan.
Ms. Wescombe, would you like to speak in a breakout room?
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Mr. Hintz, I would ask you to send me a judgment granting summary disposition.
I will do so, Your Honor. I'll have it prepared and it'll be out in the mail, hopefully by the end of today.
But we'll hold off a minute. If you guys could come up with a monthly payment amount, we could put that in the same order. So I'll put you guys in a breakout room, and I've got much other business to conduct. So you can go ahead and discuss it, and then we'll bring you back when you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Wescombe, when the button says join, you join, okay? I gotta get. All right, Mr. Frederick, you're a tenant in a land. Cindy is here. Which case are you here on?
I'm actually here for what I believe is your next case, versus Alexis and Rachel Conley.
All right, you're from Edgewater Place?
No, I am the aunt of both people, and I'm here to support Alexis.
All right, well, I'm gonna go through let's see, here's Alexis now. Nice to see you in person, Mr. Knopfinger.
Likewise, Judge.
Alexis Conley, you've joined us. Can
Yep.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Is Rachel with you?
No.
Your Honor,
I should let everybody know, including you, Luke. We've been having trouble with the sound system in here. It's about to be dismantled within the next
All right.
12 days or so. But sometimes the people from the remote feed, we can't hear them in the courtroom. They can hear them in the office, and the other parties can hear them, but we can't. So we may need to ask people to repeat things. At any rate, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
How do I look?
You've changed a little bit since high school, but
That's true. That's true enough. Anyway, here we are. So let me tell you all that you are tenants in a landlord-tenant proceeding. Rachel Conley will not be here. We'll address that in a minute. Your landlord has asked you to move, either to pay the rent or to vacate by a termination of tenancy. In either case, you have a right to hire a lawyer. If you can't afford an attorney, you can see if legal aid would represent you. They're normally here with us on the live feed. They're not here yet. I'm not sure if they're coming or not. They're almost here almost every session. Meg Bauer, she may be on vacation. At any rate, if she's not here, you can contact legal aid and ask for further assistance. And we sent you that number. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. That's never been an issue, but the Supreme Court tells me I must advise you of that. You have the right to demand a jury trial. If you want to have a jury trial, you must tell me at this first court appearance, or be prepared to make the demand for a jury trial within 5 days of today's date in writing using the jury demand form, and pay the $50 fee that accompanies the demand for a jury unless the judge waives the fee for your inability to pay it. If your landlord asks you to be evicted from a residential property because you haven't paid the rent, you may be eligible for some emergency housing assistance from Department of Health and Human Services, Community Action Agency, Keystone, or a veterans program if you are eligible.
Sir,
If
may I
they've
interject?
asked to terminate your tenancy and simply have you vacate, that's a different circumstance. But I think both of these are demands for rent. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through mediation. So far, that's never happened, but it might. If it does happen and the matter is resolved, that could be a way of taking care of it. In addition, the parties may reach an agreement. There's Meg now.
Your Honor, may I interject real quick? We don't think
Yes.
there's a point in going forward because Alexis had vacated the property and
All right, well,
given
we'll get to your
notice.
case in a minute. Miss Bauer is joining us and the attorney isn't here yet, and I'll certainly hear what you have to say when we get to that matter.
Thank you, sir.
You may be able to reach an agreement with the parties that would result in a conditional order of dismissal. If that happens, Mr. Nossinger could prepare that order or someone else. Meg Bauer just joined us. Mr. Frederick, this is a property on South River Drive. Your landlord contends that the rent is in arrears more than $4,000, probably $5,000 at this point. Luke, what's the arrearage here?
The total amount collected, this includes anticipating rent for tomorrow that would be due. Tomorrow, Judge, is $4,910.
That's through April?
That is through tomorrow.
All right, through March 28. All right, what do we have for costs here?
I have the $55 filing fee, statutory $75 attorney's fee, and then the service fee of $37.10. Judge, I have a proposed judgment.
Oh, very good, thank you.
I was reading off of it, and I thought I would give it to you. And that the total cost is $167.74.
All right, now, Mr. Frederick, I need to disclose to you that I know the Trammels. They're friends of mine. I belong to the same service club as Mrs. Trammell. They live across the lake from where I live, and I see them regularly. I see Cindy or Christy Trammell at least once a week. They do not regularly appear in my court, but maybe they have as a landlord from time to time. I don't feel the need to disqualify myself, but if you're uncomfortable with that, I could have this matter assigned to another judge. Mr. Frederick, is it acceptable to you that I handle this matter? You need to unmute your mic. Mr. Frederick, I can't hear you.
Yes,
Our
Your Honor.
defendants are stacking up. You're okay, it's off now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. Are you uncomfortable by me handling this matter because I know the Trammels?
No, Your Honor.
You don't have any objection to that?
No objections.
All right, what's your position? You're substantially behind in the rent. Do you have any plan to pay this or you plan to vacate?
I plan on paying it, Your Honor. I just sent out a form for the SER.
How do you plan to pay it?
I just got a job last week, Your Honor.
Where's that?
Fiber converters.
That's ironic. Well, are you going to receive a tax refund?
No tax refund.
Mr. Nossinger is aware of this. The law requires I adjourn this matter at least 7 days for you to have an opportunity to seek legal advice. This is a big giant arrearage, and your first paycheck isn't, we're going to add another month's rent to this when we get into April. It's going to be north of $5,000. And they're not just going to give you a $5,000 check. The only thing that would actually pay this is paying the entire amount of rent. Now, the Trambles can agree to work with you on some sort of repayment protocol, but this is a big arrearage. So today is the 27th. Next Friday is April 3rd, and that's a holiday for Good Friday. So the next day I have available is the 6th. And we got a big gap, Luke. Darn it. Yeesh. Gonna be a rough go when we get to April 6th. Oh boy. How are you for 2/15 for April 6th?
I can do that.
Does that work for you, Mr. Knopfinger?
You said April 3rd.
April 6th. April 3rd is a holiday. The courthouse is closed.
It's Good Friday, that's
Yeah.
right. Yes, 2/15 will work.
We lose either due to holiday or vacation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 8 landlord tenant dates in April. So April's going to be a bumpy ride and the 6th is going to be very full. All right. Mr. Frederick, you are free to discuss this matter with your landlords in some sort of a plan to catch this up. But the only thing that will cure this is paying the entire amount of the rent. And there's going to be another rental period due when we meet again on April 6th. So that's 10 days from today. What would happen at that time is you would either have to pay the rent or be compelled to move within 10 days of that date, which would entail an eviction where your sheriff comes and puts your stuff out. Your landlord does not have to evict you on April 16th. They have 56 days from that day to seek the writ of eviction. So that's actually 10 days to April 6th, 10 more days to April 16th, and then they would have 56 days from April 16th to ask for the writ. So there's some time in here, but they have people waiting to rent this. They have a waiting list. And if they're not going to be able to redeem it, they just need to get you out and get somebody in that's going to pay the rent. So you guys can discuss this further, but we will continue the matter because the Supreme Court says I have to continue it at least 7 days. We're going to adjourn it to April 6th at 2:15, and we'll discuss the matter further at that time.
Two things, Judge, if I may. The lease didn't indicate exactly what portion of the property he occupied. We understand that he's in room 2.
That's what it says here, room number 2.
We're not expecting to evict all other occupants. That's just
Okay.
boilerplate language from my perspective. The other is my clients are willing to, if he's able to secure funding some other way, I'm willing to work with that organization, but we are expecting the full amount.
Well, I did mention that, Mr. Frederick. There's the Department of Health and Human Services, Keystone, Community Action Agency. Those are all agencies that have some funding that may be able to assist you. So let's say for the sake of argument, you get $3,000 worth of emergency financial assistance. You would still owe $2,000.77. You have to pay the entire amount to carry the writ of eviction. So there's a lot to discuss, but I would suggest you contact those agencies that we sent you with the summons about who is got funding. Unfortunately, there isn't enough funding to go around. We got more demand than we have supply when it comes to emergency financial assistance. But your rent is substantially in arrears. It does not appear to be subsidized. So you could be eligible. Have you talked to any of those agencies?
I talked to Keystone. If they don't do that no more.
Well, I would contact Neighborhoods, Inc. and DHS, which are in there.
Okay. Actually, I got
All
an
right.
SRE for DHS.
Say that again.
I got an SER out for DHS.
All right, so you have started. Ultimately, if the rent is not paid at the discretion of the landlord, they could compel you to move 10 days after our next hearing on April 6th. So good luck, sir. I'll see you then. Mr. and
Thank you.
Mrs. Trammell, you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr.
Thank you.
Frederick, I'll let you go on about your business. Same with the Trammells. Mr. Hintz, did you reach any progress in discussion?
Your Honor, we've been talking and we've worked, we're gonna come to a resolution or a number very soon. She's gonna get me some information. I'm gonna send her some information. So we're talking, Your Honor. Ms. Westcomb and I just wanted to let the court know that we were talking. We know how to reach each other. We have emails and phones, so we should be good.
All right, very good. Ms. Westcomb, do you have any questions?
No.
All right, you're free to go. Thank you, Mr. Hintz. I'll see you again.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll get the paperwork
I'll
in.
wait your
Thank you, sir.
All right, Ms. Westcomb, you're free to go. All right, then let's go to Edgewater v. Conley. John, while we were doing the previous case, we've advised these defendants of their rights. I just received a email from Cindy Gardner indicating that Rachel Conley will not be present. So this is a River Drive apartment, 26384 LT. It's a non-payment of rent case. Did you guys get tornado damage,
Yeah.
Alexis?
Yes, we did.
I mean, did you get damage to your unit?
I think so. I don't.
No,
No.
sir.
No.
All right. So, all right, well, let's start with how much is due. Mr. Bradshaw, what's the arrearage? John, you're on mute.
Sorry about that, Your Honor. The amount that's needed through the month of March, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. The amount of rent is $2,053. There's $221 in court costs, so the total due is $2,274.70.
All right, now, if I understand correctly, Alexis, both you and Rachel have vacated the unit?
Yeah.
Well, Your Honor, we've only asked for, we did not ask for a money judgment. So if they're stating right now on the record that we can have possession of the unit, I'll just confirm that with Daniel, and then in the next day or so, we'll be filing a dismissal.
All right, Alexis, have you got all your property out of there?
Didn't even do that.
No.
Oh, all right, that changes things.
So if
All
I
right.
may interject, sir,
All right.
I believe Lexus.
How are you connected to this?
I am the aunt and great aunt, and I'm here to support Alexis. Alexis stuff is primarily out of there. What is left is some of Rachel's belongings, and we'd like the judge, if possible, to give her time once she's dismissed from the hospital to get her things out of there. But she is more than willing to vacate, and Alexis vacated last year.
Ma'am, will she need more than a week to get her stuff out?
Once released from the hospital, I don't believe she'll need more than a week.
No, I meant a week from today. So is she in the hospital because she has an injury?
She's in the hospital because of a mental health issue. So we don't have a lot of details and we don't have a discharge date. But I know Alexis cares about her mother and would happily participate in moving things out.
All right. I appreciate your being here to give us some context. Alexis, where do you live now? Don't tell me the address, but what town are you in?
Three Rivers.
All right, when you move, you're supposed to give your forwarding address in writing to the landlord within 4 days of your moving. You're still on this lease. Mr. Bradshaw is looking towards maybe some sort of consent order or a conditional dismissal order. But right now, we don't know what Rachel's status is, if she's presently able to make these decisions or if she's going to be discharged. So, John, I think the safest bet is to continue this to April 6th.
Yeah, I saw that you were doing that to April 6th. Is there a chance that we could do that in the afternoon?
Yes,
Okay, great.
it's going to be a very busy afternoon,
Sure,
but that's what we get paid for.
sure.
$9 an hour works out either way. Uh, how about 1:30? I'm looking to see if you have anything here that day.
Not,
Pays.
um,
I don't see that you have anything. How about 1:30 that day?
Okay, that sounds great. And then, Your Honor, is it possible, so is there a contact I can get, Ms. Gardner? I mean, do you have a, can I keep
Let
your,
me put the three of you in a breakout room.
okay. I
Good
have,
afternoon, gentlemen.
and I have one more, guess what, LLC versus Hector Torres, and I see they're there.
All right. All right, stick around for a minute.
Yep.
We'll do this next matter, and then I'll let you talk to Mr. Bradshaw. So you can get a little bit of a more legal education watching our proceedings. Gentlemen, which case are you guys here on? I have Singh and Harris. Oh, here it is. Borgert Family Farms and Peck. Yep. Okay, welcome. All right. Mr. Torres, would you join us, please? Now I've got Carrie Harris. We're going to talk to her. We've got Simran, that's Mr. Singh. We got Hector Torres. Mr. Singh, you need to take off your hat. And we got somebody that's just a telephone number. Who's here by, you can leave that on, your cap.
I'm Vanessa Lozada.
All right, no, take that hat off.
This one? All right.
All right.
Vanessa Lozada,
What's-
I'm on the phone call.
All right, what's your name again?
Vanessa Lozada
He's co-defendant with Mr. Torres.
with Heck, yeah.
Vanessa Lozada.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Harris, Mr. Torres, Ms. Lozada. You are tenants in a landlord-tenant proceeding. As such, you have certain rights. You have the right to hire a lawyer. If you can't afford a lawyer, you can ask if legal aid would represent you or seek other legal representation. Our legal aid attorney is here with us on the live feed. Her name is Meg Bauer. She's a very experienced landlord-tenant lawyer. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you wish to have a jury trial, you must tell the court at this first appearance or file a written demand within 5 days of today's day and pay the $50 jury demand fee unless you're unable to pay it. And the judge could waive it. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted because you haven't paid rent, you may be eligible to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, a local coordinated entry agency, a housing assessment and resource agency. That would be Neighborhood Inc. Or if you're a veteran, you may be eligible for some veterans housing benefits. You do not need a judgment against you to receive assistance from those places listed above. Copy of the summons is sufficient, and you already have that. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through mediation, local community dispute resolution, it's sometimes referred to as. Or you may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord that would result in a conditional order of dismissal. This matter is filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. Rent is $9.75 per month. Mr. Bradshaw, what's the status here?
Your Honor, the current amount due through the month of March is $2,175. There's $238.45 in court costs, so the total due through March would be $2,413.45.
We had the money. I did money orders yesterday or this morning because Walmart was closed yesterday by the time I was able to make it there after work. I think it was 2,500 that we just put in the mailbox of the apartment complex for them, which hasn't been entered in yet into
Very
the
good.
system. And I can get the other rest of it.
All
I think
right,
it
well,
would be like
2,413.45. If you put 2,500 in there, you've paid the rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I
what we're
did
gonna
that
do
today,
is we're gonna
though.
adjourn this to next Friday or to Monday, the 6th. Continue to April 6th, 2026 at 1:31. That'll just make it a different bracket. If the rent is paid, the matter can just be dismissed. Of course, April's rent is due on April 1st, but it sounds like you're good. If you put $2,500 in money orders, that should pay your rent through March plus court costs.
Yeah. They also just put in for for April, so I'll be getting that as soon as I'm out of work today.
Very good.
Yeah, it was just a matter of me getting out late and not having the time to rush over to get the money orders.
All
So
right,
I'm
well,
handling
I'm
it.
gonna set this for another hearing because I have to. But if everything is paid, Mr. Bradshaw will just dismiss the case. So stay in contact with your manager.
Yeah,
And,
what I'll do.
I have
let
been
them
trying
know.
to, and they haven't been
Okay.
answering me.
So what I will,
I've been calling, texting, and emailing, and I haven't gotten any responses back since I want to
No
say
one's-
like October.
Management company here today.
what I will do, Your Honor, I will confirm either today or Monday at the latest, confirm the money's been paid. If it is, get a dismissal in, so March is done, this case is done, and you won't have to come back as long as you get that dismissal, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry again. Thank you guys.
All right, you don't need to apologize. All right, hopefully this will be dismissed and I won't see you on April 6th. All right, Mr. Torres, I'm gonna remove you.
Okay.
April Lozada, I'm gonna remove you, or Vanessa Lozada. Then I'm going to set up a breakout room
Thank
for
you.
Cindy, Alexis, and Mr. Bradshaw. Mr. Artley left. He's still here. I'll put him in it too.
Okay, great.
I got a guy that's listed as being in the room, but he's not. I can't get him out of it.
We'll kick him out if
So
we see him in
ignore
there.
Jimenez Gonzalez. Anyway, I'll assign Alexis to room 1. I'll assign Cindy Foster to room 1. I'll assign Jan Bradshaw to room 1. This is similar to Purgatory. And I'll put Mr. Artley there as well. All right, everybody hit the button that says join and you can discuss things in the meantime. I'll be here. All right. Next up is Simran Singh versus Carrie Harris. This is filed as a termination of tenancy matter. Notice to quit. Was February 16th. This is apartment 1. Mr. Singh, am I correct? You're simply asking that she move out?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Harris, what's your position?
My position is there is no place for me to go. And I was paying my rent up until our last court date that we had, and they refused to meet with me and go over things. So I'm kind of stuck. That's my position. I don't know. I've put applications in, I've tried to get help from the state. There's nowhere for me to go. And I'm
right.
willing to pay my rent, but they refuse to meet with me to go over paperwork of things that I have that they
All right.
don't have.
Once they file a termination of tenancy, they can't accept rent. So
I
he
know
doesn't want you to pay, just wants you to move. I didn't look up the previous case. I think we got sort of halfway. Who else is there? It's Carrie Harris and all other occupants.
Chuck
Who else
Shaddix.
is there?
There's one more guy, Your Honor. I don't know his name. Chuck?
Chuck Shaddix.
He lives there also?
Yes.
Is he on the lease?
No.
All
But they
right.
knew he was living there.
Now, the law requires that I adjourn this matter at least 7 days. I'm going to continue this to April 6th. I can't adjourn it to next Friday because that's a court holiday. And we'll make it at 2:20. Ms. Harris, if Mr. Singh gets what he asked for, you and Chuck are going to have to move out 10 days after April 6th. He's not asking you to pay money. He's asking you to vacate. You've got an unlawful tenant in there, which is an additional reason why he wants you to move.
Unlawful.
He has filed for money damages, I think. Nope, no money damages.
That was the last time.
So this is simply a possession issue, not a money or rent issue. Once you move out, if he does seek money damages, we can have a hearing where people are sworn under oath and I take testimony about who owes who how much money. Calculate if there's a security deposit, how much rent is there, that sort of thing. At this point, he simply wants you to move. This process is for people who can't move, because otherwise they would never move. There aren't enough places to move to. There's not enough housing, period. And there's certainly not enough affordable housing. But the landlord doesn't have to be compelled to have you stay there. So the sheriff comes and puts your stuff out in the street. That's not a very good solution. So I'm adjourning this matter 10 days till April 6th. You get an additional 10 days from that day to vacate or be subject to being evicted. So the target date for you to look at to be out by would be by April 16th if he gets what he asks for. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions?
No, I guess not. I mean, I've got paperwork and everything. I don't even know why this is going on because I paid my rent, but
Well,
I've been there for 4 years.
he's not asking you to pay the rent. He's asking you to move.
That's the whole reason why he took me to court. Supposedly, if I have a $500 water bill that I never got a copy of, how is this all fair? I don't get it. I've been there for 4 years.
Mr. Singh, when was rent last paid?
Your Honor, she paid me right here. She paid me $550 in January. She paid me $250 in December, and she haven't paid me her balance of $450 in January. Nothing paid in February. Nothing paid in March, and she
Well,
just
that's because you stop. That's because
right.
you filed a termination of tenancy.
Absolutely right.
So
absolutely.
it isn't though she wasn't willing to pay it.
Yeah, and
But
then
once you file a termination of tenancy, you can't accept rent. So
right.
I was just wondering if she was like thousands of dollars behind in the rent.
No. It's
She's
not like that.
not.
Your Honor, it's just that she doesn't communicate. I mean, and then I just want my property back. It's just so many years. So yeah, I just request to get it back.
Your Honor, I have
Yes.
text messages that I have them telling me no more talking. I just want my house back. They don't send me the, how am I not talking to them? They refuse to meet with me.
All
And
right,
that's
well,
why
stop. I don't, is there a lease in effect? There was no lease filed with this.
there is a lease.
From when to when?
I'm on month to month. I've been there
Yes,
for
that's what
4
I
years.
thought.
Yeah. And I haven't paid rent since the last court date because they refused to meet with me and go over
That's
things.
correct. You're not supposed to. All right,
Because
it doesn't have to be fair. He's the landlord. You have a month-to-month tenancy. He gave you more than a month's notice to vacate. You didn't vacate, so he filed the case. So he's asking for his property back. Let's say he wants to move his brother-in-law in there, or he wants to empty it so he can refurbish it, or he wants to empty it so he can sell the building, or he wants to empty it so he can tear it down. This is the process you go through to do that. When you have a month-to-month lease, you don't have indefinite right to the premises. You have a month's notice, and then it starts this process. So he served a notice to quit on you, and
I know, and I have nowhere to go, Your Honor. I mean, where am I?
all right, and that's not uncommon. There is no, I have nowhere to go and exception to the fact that I have to make a landlord keep somebody as a tenant they don't wish to have. So you can consult with legal aid. They're here.
I have.
You
I've
can
already got a hold of the insurance.
hire a lawyer, or you can prepare to vacate. But we're going to continue this matter to April 6th at 2:20.
All right.
All right, you're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
There's Borgert Family Farms LLC versus Ryan Peck and Zane Peck. They are here today. They were here last week by Zoom, but they're here today. Mr. Lance Thornton is here on behalf of Borgert Family Farms. The file number is 26373LT. Are you Zane Peck?
Yes.
And you're Ryan Peck?
Yes, sir.
All right, and Mr. Thornton is there with Cindy Borgert. I have received from Mr. Thornton a conditional order of dismissal in this case. I'll read it. Defendant shall pay plaintiff $13,200 before April 5th. Payment of the aforementioned amount shall not extend or reinstate the terminated tenancy, shall not create a new tenancy, and if paid would be compensation for plaintiff, allowing defendants additional time to vacate the presence. Terms on attachment. And the attachment is the defendants would vacate by May 31st and pay that amount. I see a signature from Zane Peck, Ryan Peck, and Cindy Borgert. Zane Peck, did you agree to those terms and conditions? Yes. You're going to pay that amount of money and get everything out of there by May 31st? All right, and Ryan Peck, you agree?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Ms. Borgert, you agree as well?
Yes.
All right. Obviously, some hard work is done behind the scenes off the record to get to this point. I'm going to sign the order. Lance, is there anything you wish to add?
No, Your Honor, I think we've covered it, so.
All right.
Certainly we can clear up the miss for your family farms.
Keith? Your Honor,
Yes.
Ms. Borgert would like me to clarify maybe two things that was said in the prior hearing. One that I believe I stated that her brother Keith did not have authority to rent it. She's indicating that her mother, before she passed, Doris Borgert, did tell Keith he could manage that property. What was the other?
All right.
The other thing was, Mr. Peck said that
He
he
had-
paid Keith Borgett, and it was really Borgett Family Farms that got paid the rent, not Keith.
She just wanted to make those clarifications. on that.
All right, Mr. Peck and Mr. Peck, if you go out to the counter, you can get a copy of this. But let me also say this, if you don't pay this, then they can ask for what's called an immediate entry of a writ, and that would compel you to move. The sheriff would come move your stuff out of there. So hopefully the weather's all right. They're already out in the fields plowing, and I saw the potato people out in force yesterday morning. That gives you all of April, all of May to get your stuff out. And hopefully everybody can then get on with their business. Mr. Thorne, thank you for preparing the order. Ms. Borgert, nice to see you. Gentlemen, I'll have the court officer take you out. You can get a copy of the order and you're free to go on about your business. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You didn't have to come all the way over here, but you're always welcome to come in a public proceeding.
4 miles.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, Lance, thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, I think that does it on your landlord tenant docket. Right?
All right, Meg, that finishes our landlord tenant docket.